Friends, Paul here at the ranch. A number of you have asked me how my hunting season's going, and I thought tonight would be a good time to kind of tell a story about how my season's been going. So, we spend a lot of time in the off season planting food plots, tilling up areas, clearing trails, creating brush areas for, like, say, turkey population. So we do everything we can to improve the habitat of where we are here. And the special story I want to tell you is about a special deer that we had been seeing on trail cams as early as July in Velvet. And it was a deer that was wider and more mature than many of the other deers that we've been seeing on the trail cams. And we affectionately, it's one of my old favorite shows, which was the Bill Cosby show, and one of the characters was Fat Albert. So we called this deer Fat Albert. And so we had some good pictures of him in the evening, but we only had one or two daylighted pictures of Fat Albert. And so here's how my day went. So it's October, I think the 9th of October. And my wife, I had promised my wife I was going to build a fence to kind of cover up something that we had in the backyard, a propane tank that my wife wanted to kind of cover. And so I went to my favorite Ben's Great Outdoor up the street here in Marlette area of Michigan, and I got pressure treated lumber. And as many of you know from the videos, I like to do some woodworking projects. So I built this fence that really came out nice, and I'll put a picture of it in the video. And so I finished that. I started working on it in the morning. I finished it about 4:30, and I was pretty spent, but I decided, I said, you know what, it's a nice night. Let's go sit by the pond, which is a close stand to the house. It's got an apple orchard to the south. The water source being the pond itself. It's a pretty large pond. We have a bedding area to the left, and then the main food plots just kind of to its north. And I'm get up there and I sit down, and I'm not in that tree more than, I don't know, 15 minutes, and I start hearing what appears to be kind of sparring. But the other night I saw does kind of jumping around, and I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe it's just the does messing around. I don't know, but it sounded like sparring to me. And all of a sudden, two does run off to the main food plot, and one doe shoots down the trail towards the ranch. And I can't process it all, and I decided I was going to grunt. So I took my grunt tube and I just did a really soft grunt, and sure enough, about 2 minutes later, out peers what appears to be a nose, and then I see it move its rack through the briars and comes out right on the main trail adjacent from the pond, and it's Fat Albert. And it completely took me off guard. The perfect shot for me would be an offhanded shot, and so I'm looking through my scope, but I don't feel great about it. Buck fever is real for those of you who've ever hunted, and so I decided to let things calm down, and it literally walks off into the main food plot. And it's there for about 15-20 minutes, and I said, I'm gonna hit the grunt tube again, just to see what reaction. Maybe, who knows? Maybe, And the minute I hit that grunt tube again, turned 180 degrees and came back and walked right back into the microplot where I was hunting on the pond. This time I had a great range. I knew a window in which I saw him he was going to walk through, and it was about 32 yards. So I dialed up my optimizer sight on my crossbow, and he walked into that stop and stopped right there, and he looked up at me. And if those of you have ever, when a deer looks at you, I mean, it's like they look right through your entire being. You can't move. It's hard to breathe, and it seemed like a long time. It probably was a couple of minutes, but I was hoping that he would move. His right leg was a little bit rearward, and I needed him to take one more step. And I was just I had really, it was kind of quartering to me a little bit, but it needed to take that one extra step. Well, sure enough, he took that step, and I released the trigger. And as a hunter, when you make a good shot, and I knew that it was a really good shot. I had a lighted knock. I was shooting the Pro Elite 400 arrows from 10 Point. They're really good arrows if you ever use them. And it buried, lower third, and I definitely got both lungs. I probably got potentially his heart too. I knew it was a good shot, and he went mule kicked and ran off. And then I heard what I thought was a crash. I couldn't be for certain, but I think I heard a crash. And but that moment, all the adrenaline started coming through me. So I called my cousin, and I'm having trouble just verbalizing what just about happened. And so I asked him if he could come up, and I knew I was going to have. And he's helped me so much on the property, manage the property, and it was kind of a great thing for both of us to be a part of. And so anyway, I typically wait 2.5 to 3 hours before I go and trail any deer in archery season. I mean, in rifle or shotgun season, it's a lot different, but in archery, I think it's a good practice to at least give it 3 hours before you go to, even if you make a fantastic shot. I just think it's good practice. So anyway, we decided, we got the headlamps out and all of our lights and everything, and we found blood immediately, and the blood trail was pretty easy to find. It was a swampy area behind the pond, and he died probably 40 yards from where the shot was taken. And he was a huge deer, very mature deer. Well over 200 pounds. The gutted weight, that when we took him on the scale, it was 195 pounds gutted. So he was a big deer. He had even though it was pre-rut, he had a big neck, and his inside spread was like right around 21 inches. And I'll show you some pictures in the video so you'll see, but just a very impressive deer, and couldn't be prouder to take him on the property that I've been working at now here for a number of years, and now that we have a residence here at the property, it's really a special time for us here at the ranch. So that's my story of Fat Albert. Hopefully you'll have a good hunting season this year as well. We've still got a few other hit list deer that we're looking at. We have one we call Rambo, which is a really impressive 4-year-old, and then we have one that my wife named Freedom Tower, which is another big deer that we're looking at. But I hope your hunting season goes the way you wish, and as always, be safe. God bless you, and thanks for watching.